This conference will now be recorded.
So today we are going to learn Power Query. So in Excel, it is one of the important concept what we'll be learning today. So Power Query, usually it is used to import the data. So it is actually used to import and export the data. Like whenever I have to get the data from the other source, or I wanted to modify and take the data to any other source, then I'll be using this Power Query. So Power Query is also called as an ETL tool, that is to edit, transform, and load the data. So here, I'll be working on two different types of data. So I have two folders. Sir, shall I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, so Power Query is an ETL tool which is used to transform the data. So here I have two folders. One folder contains data from Excel. So here I have 3 years customer details, like my sales details I have here. So I'll show one of the file over here. So here you can see I have the customer ID, first name, last name, country, region,
Sorry
state,
to
postal
interrupt,
code.
ma'am. We can't able to say anything, ma'am. Like,
You're not able to see the screen?
yeah, ma'am. I
One
hope you have
second,
not
sir.
shared a screen.
Now are you able to see the screen, sir?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you able to
Poor
see the
network.
Is it clear? You are able to see the screen, right, sir?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody is telling yes, somebody is telling no. So the name list is appearing. Now can you see the data in Excel?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
now we can see.
So here I have the sales details. So here when you see in a folder, I have 3 years data, sir. So I have my this one, like my customer details. I have a folder wherein I have 3 years information of my sales. So when I click on the first year data, so you can see I have the customer ID, first name, last name, country, region, rate, state, postal code, email ID, product name. So product order ID, order date, ship date, unit sold, sale price, and status. So here I have almost like some 700 data something I have. Yeah, 700 data I have in each file. So like this, I have 3 years data, sales data I have. Now in Power Query, I wanted to merge this 3 years file. So what is this Power Query is? So I'm going to open a blank worksheet. So I'm opening a blank workbook. So here under data tab, you have this option. So here you can see this is Power Query, where you have this get and transform data queries and connections. So this is the Power Query. So here what it is actually means, Power Query basically it is used to import and export the data in Excel. So if you see from which all data sources you can import and export the data, if you see from file, if I take, it can be from an Excel workbook, it can be a text or CSV file, or an XML file, JSON file, or the entire folder you wanted to merge, combine, and transform the data, that also it can be done, or from the SharePoint folder also the data can be sourced. So database, if you see SQL Server, Microsoft Access, Analysis, SQL Server Analysis, Oracle Database, IBM DP2, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Sybase, Teradata, SAP HANA. From Azure services, if you see Azure SQL, Azure Synapse, Azure HDI, Azure Blob, Azure Table Storage. Online services, if you see, from SharePoint, from Microsoft Exchange, Dynamic 365, Salesforce Object, Salesforce Report, from other sources, like it can be from a table range or from a web SharePoint list, OData, Hadoop, Active Directory, Microsoft Exchange, ODBC, OLEDB, blank queries. So if I wanted to combine the queries, so in Power BI usually use this merge and append. So like this, from any of the data source, you can import and export the data also. If it is an individual files, from here I can take, like from CSV file, from web, or from table range, anything I can take. So this is actually the Power Query. So as I told earlier, so Power Query is an ETL tool where I extract that information, transform it, and load it. So basically it acts as a platform for Power BI where we create the visualization. Now here in advanced Excel, we will learn how to extract the information, how to modify it, and how to transform it and load the data. So here we are going to work on the base of Excel. So I have opened a blank workbook. I'll go to get data. So as I have my data in folder, huh? Online class, online class is there. Excuse me, sir. 1 second. I'll just come.
No problem.
Sorry, sir.
No
So
problem.
Power Query is an ETL tool where we extract the information, we edit the information, we transform it, and we load it. So here I'm going to work on first one is Excel. So from Excel, how to extract the information, transform it, and load it. Then we will work on one CSV file also. So that is comma separated values text file. So now I have to first extract the information. So I will go to get data from file, from folder. Why? Because I have this sales report, 3 year sales report in one particular file, that is my customer details. So I'll click on my folder. Here Excel will ask me from where it need to fetch the information. So here I have the data on my desktop. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಅವರು ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇವಾಗ. ಹ್ಮ್. So my customer details. One second, sir. Just check. One second, sir. I'll just. Sorry, one second, sir. One second. I'll just be back. Sir, are you people able to see my screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
So from folder, so here I have the information of 3-year sales data. I'll select the entire folder, my customer details. I'll click on open. So now I am using the blank workbook. So here, once I select the folder, Power Query will tell me the allocation from where I have taken the folder and what is the extension, like what is the file type. So it is an Excel file. So here I have the information like transform the data. Transform the data means here I have 3 years information. Transform data means it is not going to combine the data, but directly it is going to take me to transform, make the changes in the data. So load. So either I wanted to load to Excel or load to Power BI or any other platforms I wanted to load. Means without making any changes, without combining, without transforming the data if I wanted to load. Now here I wanted to actually combine. So combine and transform is this all this 3 years data I wanted to combine and make the necessary changes. Next option is just combine the data and load it. I don't need any transformation. Combine and load to, so combine and load to any other sources like that. But here I wanted to combine and transform the data. So I'll select combine and transform data. So now Excel will open with Power Query Editor. So here you can see combine files means here the sample file. If I click on this drop down, the individual files like I have 2019 sales data, 2020, 2021 and first file is combined file. So I'll keep combined file only and here I'll just click on the sales report so that Excel will show me, that Power Query will show me the preview of the combined data. Now I'll click on OK. So here now you can see Power Query Editor has got opened. It looks very much similar to Excel only. So here in the leftmost corner, it will show based on what I am working. So here I am using the platform of Excel. Means I am working directly from the Excel. If I am working from Power BI, if I am taking the data here to transform, then here it will show me the Power BI logo. And here the file name, whatever the folder name I had given, the same file, the folder name has given as file name. So Power Query has chosen like that. And here I have the menu tab, which has the tabs and the ribbons. Okay, so we'll check out what are the ribbons are. Until now, whatever the procedure it took on from starting from the Power Query data transforming, so all those steps will be mentioned over here one by one. So this is queries. So I'll just close this and here you have this formula bar. So formula bar, usually in Excel we write the functions and the formulas. In Power Query, whatever the data I'm fetching, accordingly Power Query is going to write the DAX functions. So DAX is nothing but data analysis expressions. So that is the formula. So in Excel we call it as functions and formulas. In Power Query and Power BI it is called as DAX. So DAX functions. So this one in generally this is called as M language, that is mashup language. Means whatever the functions we write it in the form of formulas. So here it is not called as formulas but mashup language. Means accordingly whatever the columns it is written, accordingly there is a modification written in the formula. So here you can see by default Power Query for the selected column it has written the DAX function, that is in mashup language. Okay, so this is nothing but the functions what we use in Excel only, but it is in the advanced level. So the same thing only we will be writing it in the Power BI also, but Power Query from the Excel, from the software, and it is going to write the DAX functions. So if you are very much well versed with the DAX functions, then you can also write it in Power Query, but it will be a bit complicated when compared to the Excel and Power BI. Power Query has a bit of complicated DAX. Why? Because here the software is going to write the DAX function. So if we are writing it, it has to be something competitive to it. like that it is. And here we have the rows and columns wherein the data whatever I have loaded here, it will be put on the data over here. And here I have the query settings. So if I wanted to change the file name, like if I wanted to rename it as sales report, so I can rename it from here. And here in Power Query, Control Z, that is Control Z will not work. So undo. So that function will not work over here. So instead it will apply, it will show the things, whatever the steps I take in, it will show one by one over here in the applied step. If I wanted to undo any of those actions, I have to just simply come here and click on this into button. So it will undo that step. So this is about the interface of Power Query. Now here you can see, so as the data is loaded, Power Query is trying to identify the columns. So here you can see whatever the data I have, it is identifying it has a text. So if it is a number, so Power Query is identifying this data as numbers. So like the wise, each and every columns is being identified and it is telling whether it is a text column or it is a numeric column. So if there is any data, dates or anything as such. So here you can see I have the order date and ship date, and here it is identifying is it has calendar type. If I have any locations like state, country, postal code or anything as such, then it will identify and symbolize in the form of globe. So globe symbol it will show, so that it was identifying as the information related to the geographical location. Like this it is going to identify, that is Power Query. Now my data is combined. Now I have to transform the data. I have extracted the information. So then I have done the modification by combining. Now I have to make the transformation, like whatever the changes I wanted, I can apply it from here. So first thing is the source name. The file names are appearing. So I don't want this file names. So I have to just click on. So by default, the first column will be selected. I'll select. So here, whatever the options you have in the ribbon, the same options are going to be available in the right click also. So source name, I don't want this source name where the file names are mentioned. I'll just click on remove. So the first thing is removed. Now the customer ID is there. So I wanted to sort it first. So it is completely jumbled. I have to sort it. So I'll click on this drop down and click on sort ascending. So as I sorted, you can see there are n number of null values wherein I don't want this null values. I'll click on this drop down and just uncheck this null and click on OK. So now my null values are removed and it has sorted from ascending to descending also. Now that is customer ID. Now here you can see I have my first name and last name in two different columns. So I wanted to combine this and give it as my customer name. So for that first column I'll select, I'll press Control and then click on the last name. So both the columns are selected. Now right click and I wanted to merge these columns. So I'll click on merge column. So here, what is the separator that is going to happen? So from the first name to the last name, the separator will be space. So here I'll select the separator as space and I'll click on OK. Sir, are you people able to follow? Am I going fast or something?
No,
No, ma'am.
we are able to follow.
Okay, okay. So here my two columns are combined now. I need to rename it to customer name. So I have renamed it to customer name. Now here I'll come to the third column. So here I have the information of my country and region both in one column, wherein I wanted my country information and region information in two different columns. So I need to separate this column. I'll right click and I'll click on split columns. So split columns by delimiter. So delimiter means here the delimiter is space hyphen space. So that is the delimiter. So split column by delimiter. So delimiter means what? So in Excel we have cell to cell. So the first information is given in one cell and the second information is given in another cell. So from one cell to another cell, what is the separator? Either it is space, hyphen, comma, or I am using the tab. So tab, which is in the keyboard. So tab means 4 space make one tab. So like that, what is the separator? So in Excel terms, it is called as delimiters. So by delimiter, so here what is the delimiter that is there? So as I told, it is space hyphen space. The country and the region is separated by this delimiter.
Ma'am, in this case, we can't change separate deadlines also, ma'am.
Oh my God. So nobody noticed that the recording was stopped.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll start it from the beginning, because now without recording, nothing can be done. So now recording is happening. I hope a screen is visible, right, to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Okay, I'll take the data. So first what I did, I have to fetch the data. So my data are in two different folders, like details. So I have 3 year sales data. Then I have my students detail, which is a CSV file. So once we finish with this, then we can continue with that. So I'll come here, I'll go to get data from file, from folder. So here we are going to work on Power Query, which is an ETL tool, which is used to extract, edit, transform the data and load the data. So it is a ETL tool where we are going to actually import and export the data. Now I'm going to fetch the data from the folder. So I'll click on folder, and here it will ask the allocation, where is your folder is. So my folder contains 3 years sales data. So I'll select this customer details, wherein I have to take my entire folder into picture. I'll select it and I'll click on open. So here Power Query will show the allocation from where you have fetched the data and what is the file type. So here it is telling these files are, by extension we can make out that it is Excel file. So transform data. So here I have 3 years sales information, wherein I don't want to combine the data. I have to make the necessary changes. Then I will click on transform data. Or I don't want to combine the data, not transforming the data. I just wanted to load. So direct load means it will load to Excel. Load to means it will load to other sources, like it can be Tableau, Power BI, anywhere where you are going to build the visualization. Now the third option is combine. So combine and transform data. Combine means here I wanted to combine this 3 years sales data and transform, make the necessary changes. Second option is combine this 3 years data without making any changes. I wanted to load it to Excel. Load to combine the data and load to any other sources. But here I need to combine this 3 years sales data and transform it. I'll click on combine and transform data. So here you can see it will show the combined files and sample file. When I click on this drop down, individual files are also available, and it is renaming the combined file as first file. So I wanted to work on the first file, so I'll keep the same thing. And here it will show the option like the preview, whichever you wanted to see. I wanted to see the preview of the sales report. Once I select, the preview will be visible. Now I'll click on OK. So now my Power Query editor is open. Power Query editor means where you are going to transform the data. So as I'm using the base of Excel, so in the leftmost corner, you can see Excel symbol logo will be visible. If I am taking the data from Power BI, then Power BI logo will be visible. That means Power Query is worked on which platform that will be displayed, and the folder name, whatever it is there, Power Query will consider that as the uh, file name. Okay, and then we have the tabs, and then we have the ribbons, and then we have the queries means before I transform the data, the procedures, whatever it happened, so all those things will be shown here in the queries. So I'm going to keep it hidden, and this is called as formula bar. So in Excel it is called as formula bar. Here it is called as M language, that is mashup language. And the data, so this here the formula, whatever it is written, so in Excel it is called as function and formulas. Here in Power Query and Power BI it is called as DAX. DAX is nothing but DAX, which stands for data analysis expressions. Okay, so here Power Query is going to build the DAX functions. So Power BI and Excel, you are going to write the DAX functions, but in Power Query, whatever the columns it is built in. So for this particular column, Power Query will take the initial and it will create the DAX functions. So here also you can write the DAX function, but for that you should be well versed in writing the formulas. If you are well versed in writing the formulas, then you can write the DAX functions. But as I told, it is from the other end, Power Query is going to write the function. So you should be well equipped with it. Then we have the work area, and on my right hand side you can see query settings. So if I wanted to rename the file name, I can rename it to sales report. And here applied step in Power Query, Control Z, that is undo will not work. Control Z, I cannot work. So applied step, whatever the steps I implement one by one, it is going to get written over here. If I wanted to do something undo, then I have to come and click on this cross button, so which will undo my action. Okay, and here in the work area, if you see, so all my data is put in the rows and columns, and for each columns, so Power Queries identifying what type of data it is. For example, the first one you can see it is identifying as text, and the second one it is identifying this column has number. So likewise it will identify the different data sources also. So here if you see the order date and ship date, you can see it is identifying the data has calendar type. That means it is a order. If I have any postal code, country, state or something, I'll get the global symbol. So that shows there is a location, geographical location. So like this, Power Query is going to identify in each column what are the data types I have. So now here I have extracted the information wherein I have taken. Now I have combined the data also. Now I need to modify the data. Like I wanted to transform the data as per my requirement. So first thing is the source name. By default, the source name will be selected. So here if I click like this, the selection will happen. Here I don't want this source name. That is the file names I don't want. So here in the ribbon, whatever the tools that are available, when I come and click on this column, right click on the column, the same actions I will be able to do it from here also. The first column, the source name I don't want, I'm going to remove it. So it is removed. Now customer ID, I wanted to sort it. I'll click on this drop down. I'll click on sort ascending. So here, as I clicked on sort ascending, you can see there are n number of null values, wherein I wanted to remove the null values. So I'll click on this drop down and uncheck this null values. I'll uncheck it and click on OK. So my null values are removed and it is sorted from ascending to descending order. Now I have my first name and last name. That is my customer name, wherein I wanted to combine these two data. So first I have selected first name. In order to select the second last name, I'll press Control and click on this. Now both the columns are selected. I'll come here, right click, and I'll click on Merge Columns. So merge columns, here it is asking what is a separator. Separator means, so the space. So in between my first name and last name, the space is the separator. So I'll come here and select space and click on OK. So you can see my first name and last name is now it is merged. Now I'll rename it to customer name. And here I'll come to the third column where you can see my country and region are combined together. Now I have to separate it. So I want country in one column, region in one column. I'll right click and I'll click on split columns. So wherein it is asking what is the delimiter. Delimiter means the separator. In Excel, the values are put in cells. So one cell will be having one information, other cell will be having one information. So the two information are separated from what? Either it is from space, comma, hyphen, tab. Tab means in the keyboard we have four space, make hyphen tab. So how it is separated? So that is called as delimiter in Excel terms. So now I have to split this column by delimiter. So here delimiter means, so here you can see between India and East there is space hyphen space. That is my delimiter. So I need to select the delimiter from here. So here I don't have anything as such. So I'll click on custom and I need to mention the delimiter. So that will be space. So that will be space hyphen space. I'll click on OK. So now my country and region are separated. So now I'll rename it to country. And here I'll rename this second one to region. So now I'll come to state. Sir, any issues as such, recording is not happening, the screen is not visible, anything, please inform, because I'm going in a flow. I won't be able to know what is happening behind the screen. So here state, I wanted to capitalize each word. Sir, are you people there? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam.
Okay. So here I wanted to transform the data. I'll select it, right click, transform and capitalize each word. So my data is capitalized. The first letter is capitalized. So next postal code, it is Power Query is identifying this as a text. Why it is identifying as text means by the alignment only you can make out it is left aligned. And here there is space. So space is to be considered as a text. So I'll right click and I will click on replace values. So here replace values, value to find space and replace it with nothing. I'll click on OK. So it has replaced the value, but still it is identifying this as a text. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to transform and detect data type. So now you can see it identified that as a text and has moved to right alignment. Email ID is proper. So next one. So product name is also okay. Order ID, order date. So order date, ship date. So here I wanted, like I have got received the order and I have sent the items. Like I wanted to know how many days I have taken in order to ship. Okay, so that is days to ship I can tell, wherein I wanted to subtract the information. So I'll select the ship date. I'll press control and I'll select the order date. And here I'll come to home, transform. Add columns. So here in add columns, I have this date option wherein I have subtract days. So under add column, I have subtract days. So the subtracted calculated column will appear in the last. So I'll just click on this, drag and drop it next to the ship date and rename it to days to ship. So next we have unit sold and sale price. So now I wanted to see the total sales. So I will select this unit sold. I'll press control and I'll select sell price and I wanted to multiply. I'll go to add column and I'll just click on multiply. So the multiplied column will appear in the last. I'll just drag and drop it next to the sale price and rename it to total sales. So now the way I wanted to modify everything, I have made the changes. So now whatever the steps I have included, so everything you can see in the applied steps. So here I have renamed it to total sales. I'll just click on this undo button. So you can see it got undo. I'll just rename it again, total sales. So now all the things are done. So as per my requirement, I have combined the data, I have transformed the data. Now I need to load it. So load it to Excel only. So for that, I'll go to home, and here I'll come to load and close and load. I'll click on close and load. So it will come back to the place where I started my journey. So now you can see. So now you can see it is in the table format. It has taken all my data here. So now here you can see it is combined 2100 data available. So it has made all the necessary changes and has brought me back to Excel. Means from where I started, it is going to bring me back to the same place. Now I wanted to know whether this is dynamic. So in the previous class, I have told what is dynamic means. So once I have generated the report, now some mistake I have done in the source data. If I make the changes in the source data, is that changes going to get applied in my report? So yes, let's see. So here I have one information, Andrea. So this particular lady's postal code, I will just try to change and see whether it is getting applied. So I'll go to my source data. So I'm just going to take the random one. Why? Because all the three are same only. So here, yeah, I have the information of Andrea. So here I'm going to make it as 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'll press enter. I'll press Control S. I have saved this information, close it, and now here I am in my report. So whatever the everything, the details I wanted to change, I have brought it here. Now I have made the changes in the source. Now I wanted to see whether this number will be changed of Andrea over here. So there I gave 1 2 3 4 5 6. Here it is 6 5 4 3 2 1. So here in the table design, I have this option refresh. I'll just select this and click on refresh. So whatever the changes I made, I got the changes over here. So that means if I make any mistakes also, I can change it. Now one more thing has happened. Now here I have 3 years information. So here there was one more file which by mistake I left it out. Like I'm going to copy and paste the same information only. So I'll rename it. So this is 2022. So this data I had forgotten. So now I have to add this data to this report. So here I have 2100 data. Now I'll just come to this refresh option and I'll click on refresh. So here you can see the actual data after combining 3 year sales is 2100. Now I have added one more file in my folder. I'll just come and click on this refresh. So that 700 data got added. Now I need not have to go to Power Query again, make the changes, add nothing. So if it is by mistake, if I've left out any data also, that is going to get uploaded in the Power Query by itself. So this is called as dynamic. Clear about this?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
Ma'am, if in case if we delete any one of the Excel data, so and again if we do
In the file,
refresh, the
in
data
the
will be
folder.
erased, right?
Let's see that also we will try.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, now here it is like here you can see it is 2800 data. I have not tried this. Let me check. So I'm going to delete this 2022. So I have deleted. So I have only 3 years data. So by that, if I see it should be 2100. So before I add the fourth data, it was 2100. I'll just come to refresh. So the
Okay.
deleted one, it will remove.
Mhm. Okay.
So any changes you make it in the source, but the changes it will be taking in the consideration. Like if I'm adding any column means the column should be added in all the 3 years data. If I am adding any one column in one particular this one only file only, rest others doesn't have that particular column means it will not include.
Okay.
In any single cell any changes that will be uploaded automatically, but adding the column, so again you have to add it in all the other sources also, so that the correction will be done by Power Query.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Format should be same, right? All the Excel sheet.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
No.
ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, I think there was some network issues.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, so till the last, whatever I taught, everybody were able to follow it.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. She,
Okay,
Ashley was.
so that CSV file I'm going to share you people. So I wanted you to try the same methodology only. If you are solving it is, I'm will be very happy. Thursday I will teach the same thing. But before that I wanted you people to try it out. So I will share the Excel data and the CSV data both.
Madam, system configuration should be
No, no,
365
nothing
or
has such. No, no, nothing has such. You can work on the basic Excel only.
okay.
Okay.
So CSV files I'll share the same methodology, the same procedures only you need to follow. Just give a try. If you are unable to do it, I'll explain it once again on the Thursday. So generally I wanted you people to give a try.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible to everyone, sir?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Yes. We are audible, madam.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah. Yeah. We
I
can hear you. Yeah.
think from my end there is network issue, sir. Poor network connection. Yeah, here it is showing has poor network connection.
Yeah.
I'll share the recording to you people, sir.
Okay. Can you hear
I'll
us
share the
now?
recording and I will share the information. This one also notes also.
Okay.
Notes also I will share. So you people
Yeah.
can, okay. If not getting, never mind. Thursday we will, once again we will do if you are not getting anything properly.
Okay.
Any clear,
Okay,
sir?
ma'am. Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Okay, shall I wind for today then? Okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank
I'll
you.
share the
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. Mm.